everybody? This is Sean B. Bradley, CEO of Dealer Synergy, and I am super excited because I got some incredible news. I want to introduce you all to the 2014 cover story for AutoSuccess magazine. Sir, introduce yourself to the world.
Sure. My name is Ron Boss Jr. I am the dealer principal for Spirit Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Swedesboro, New Jersey.
My name is Jennifer Romano, and I am the Internet Director at Spirit Chrysler.
I'm Michael Boss, General Manager here at Spirit Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Swedesboro, New Jersey.
Now, okay, so, wow. First of all, how does that feel that out of the 17,500 franchise dealerships in the United States of America, that you are the June cover?
I'm very honored, humbled, and surreal, to be honest with you, that we're sitting here and that we've been chosen.
So just tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been in the car business?
Over 20 years.
20. You ain't even 20 years old, man.
Come on, 35.
Okay.
Started when I was 15 in the parts department.
Okay.
Full-time at 15 years old. I actually got my GED in 11th grade and was working full-time ever since.
Well, I started in 1998. I started at a Chrysler dealership fresh out of high school. I was a title clerk for a year, and then I went to service for a year, and I decided that if they didn't let me sell cars, I was going somewhere else.
Okay.
So I started selling cars at 19 and a half, 20. Then I was salesperson of the year my first year and second. I got promoted to finance manager. I was a sales manager, and now I'm at Spirit.
So how did this organization come about?
My father in 1991 started this business.
He was one of the leading innovators type of guys. He was he was a driven person, driven for success. His dream was to have a business that he could pass to his sons and his family. He started as a salesperson.
Okay.
Young guy, I want to say probably got in like 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
He was a very determined person. From there, he actually, he was top salesman for a Chevy dealership in Philadelphia. Then went on to own and operate a couple used car lots. And then at that point, I think he saw the vision that, the used car lots were great, but to have a new car franchise was a goal for him in his life to achieve. From there, he went on to work for a Ford dealership, an Oldsmobile dealership. And then ultimately what happened was he was introduced to a man by the name of Don Tobin. Mr. Tobin was, he was a dealer, a very successful entrepreneur and business person, but Mr. Tobin had a history of taking stores, turning them around, and then selling them. And then what he would do is he would give general managers first opportunity to buy the store that was turned around. Mr. Tobin met my father and they immediately connected, but the attraction was that my dad knew by learning under him that he could have the potential to own and operate his own new car franchise, which was a dream come true.
So your dad was the ultimate American dream, the success story totally from the bottom,
Absolutely.
Working his butt off, and then went from a salesperson, top performer, to owning a dealership. And I want to kind of zero in on what you said because that means a lot to me. Being a parent myself and wanting to give something to our kids. So you said that your father wanted to give something.
Yes, his dream was to, obviously to achieve what he did, but to be able to pass on a legacy to his children. And that's hard to understand at a young age, that, when your dad says, hey, someday this will all be yours, you're kind of like, yeah, right. Like I'm a lot guy, and one day this is all going to be yours. And then I moved up through the ranks. My brother, the same thing, moved through the ranks of the business as well. But as I got more involved with the business, as I was working, more side by side with him, my brother and I also, that dream can become a reality. I could never do what he did. I could never build this from the ground up the way he did. His background was very humble beginnings. Nobody gave him anything. He didn't have somebody to back him financially. He worked for everything that he had. I never went without food. I never went without clothes. I never went without a home. These are things that I know my dad experienced, early as a child. So he was a fighter. He was a fighter up till the day he passed. So, that type of background and personality, let's face it, he's got soul, man, to do what he did. I mean, to take the chances. We uprooted the family. We were from up in Bucks County, PA, moved down here to South Jersey in 1986. And even then, but he was saying it, he was believing, I'm going to buy this place one day. And that was 5 years later. I'm like, we uprooted, we moved down here. I'm like, really? Has everything changed? My family, friends, and all that stuff. And it was tough for me, the transition and the move. This is a small community. Everybody knows everybody. So to actually, move down here and then try to adjust was a challenge for me. And, I couldn't wait to graduate and get out and get away. And the one thing that I wanted to get away from, I ended up becoming a part of, and that was the business and the community. And, to be here all these years, and then, the reins obviously were passed, not the way I would have hoped for. I mean, I would love to see my dad, sitting here today. But he was that type of a survivor type fighter, that mentality. So he wasn't just going to pass the reins over and retire down to Florida. That was not him. He was going to, work here until he couldn't, and that's what happened. But he also instilled a lot, in my brother and myself, a strong work ethic, a strong desire to be here. I believe my destiny and what I'm supposed to do is to take the footprint that he gave me and multiply it, turn it into something greater, because he gave me an opportunity that, let's face it, in today's world, to buy a dealership, it takes a lot of capital, it takes a lot of, who knows who, that type of thing. And here I am. I'm blessed by the grace of God, I really am.
So the economic collapse was around 2008, and then in 2009 you lost your father. So you got you got hit from both sides.
Yeah, it was like the perfect storm. Chrysler Financial decided they're out of the floor plan business.
Filed for bankruptcy.
Chrysler, the corporation, is bankrupt. Chrysler Financial, who's the floor plan, they're no longer doing floor plan cars. And then my father passes, and so here we are. And then you don't know which dealers are going to be chosen to move forward with the new Chrysler. And my mentor and my father, who handled this stuff, he dealt with all these things. He wasn't here. And we as a family were left to figure it out.
In your heyday, let's say in the last 10 years, what was the most that the store was delivering?
I believe 1 or 2 times we rung the bell with 100 new. And used was probably 50 to 70, somewhere in there. So probably close to 200.
Okay, so that's pretty strong. What do you know what the grosses were approximately back then? A couple thousand a copy?
Probably, give or take a little more.
So the grosses, let's just talk numbers. You're looking at what, 300,000, 280, 300,000 just off the sales.
Yep.
So that's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us how the organization has been doing for the last couple of years. Like how many units you've been doing, what's the rough profits on a monthly basis?
I mean, honestly, we were running probably somewhere between busting even and maybe making 10, 15 grand a month, and 50 units, 60 units. We were tracking pretty steady, normally about 600 cars a year.
That's a big difference from back in 2005 when you hit 160, 170. So how does losing about 100 units a month affect the organization, the employees, and
Oh, I mean, overall, there was a whole lot of things that were out of our control, as Chrysler and all the big three and everything that happened. And then with the tsunami and then all the inventory stuff. And then we were really forced to just sell whatever we could sell. So you automatically had to scale back down from doing those type of volume. Right. He dies in the midst of all that. We still have 50, 60 employees, and you got to keep forging forward.
So what was the strategy of trying to get back? I mean, it didn't obviously go from 170 to 50. There was a little bit of a decline, I'm thinking, right? Or did it just...
Yeah, no, it did. It declined.
Okay, so then what was the strategy at first that you tried? I'm assuming that you guys tried different things. You didn't just accept defeat,
No.
So what type of different things did you try to be successful?
I mean, the old school mentality is you just kept throwing money at the problem, and that didn't fix anything. You can increase your paper advertising, you can increase your pay-per-clicks. If you're not working it or monitoring it or effectively utilizing those tools, you're not doing anything.
Okay. How did we wind up meeting? How did you turn around and hear about Dealer Synergy? How did you hear about me, Sean Bradley?
Well, I'll tell you, I have known about you because of the magazine. See, a lot of times when you read these magazines and you somewhere across the country, it could be Oklahoma, but they really hit home when it's something in your backyard. And there was a dealership you worked with here in New Jersey, Honda. There was another dealership you worked with.
Davis Honda.
Yeah. And it was in the PA, I think.
Parisi Toyota.
Yes. So I knew about you. A friend reached out to me and said, hey, Jim Ziegler is doing this internet battle plan down in Atlanta, and I knew that, you know, we were missing that internet business, or just that there was something missing. To make a long story short, my sister and I went down, and we had senior presentation, and obviously that's when we went up and introduced each other. And, you know, I could have used every vendor in that room, but I knew that dealer synergy was what I needed immediately. This can't be something that happens in 60 days or 90 days. Like, this has to happen now. And then, you know, the rest starts to become history.
So we met at the Jim Ziegler battle plan, and I do remember it. It was a very awesome interaction with you, and you know, you guys were very kind as far as my presentation. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I thought it was funny that, you know, here I am meeting a dealer principal from New Jersey, 30 minutes away from my office in Atlanta, Georgia. So I thought that was like a sign, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you guys need to connect. So we got to meet two Jersey guys from like around the block almost. I got to meet in Atlanta. All right, so how do we jump? Like, what's going through your mind? Like, okay, like you hear me speak, and you know, I've evangelized the message, and you've seen all these articles, but like you said, you're going through, you need change. You need help at your dealership. What made you pull the trigger and ask for help? Because a lot of dealers, you know, they're like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, or this is not going to work for me. What made you decide, the hell with it, I'm rolling the dice? What was it?
I knew that, you know, and even before I met, but I knew that I was going to need guidance. I was going to need instruction. I was going to need structure of some sort that I couldn't give. Like, you know, a lot of what I know is up here, but do I have time to train somebody? Do I have time to do certain things? And I'll be honest with you, even the things that you were training, I may have known about it, but I would have never been able to communicate it. So I knew that training was key. And I was also willing to submit and say, you know what, just because I'm the dealer, that doesn't make me, hey, the smartest guy on earth, but I at least knew I had to reach out and say, okay, I need help, you know, and I need help, and what do we do here? And a lot of dealers, they'll go to that, and then they will take your ideas, and they will try to duplicate it themselves, and it won't work. And it'll go for a little bit like a hot air balloon. It expands and then eventually just collapses. It goes up, it goes down. I didn't want to do that anymore. I'm tired of going up and going down. We've done mailers, you know, and I've had where the place is flooded and the balloons and selling the cars. And the mailers are great. I'm not going to tell you they're not. But I wanted something consistent, because when things go up quick, they go down quick. So if this is a steady increase, it's going to take a long time for it to decrease. And I don't see that happening. But I recognize that, you know, what you had to offer, I had to say, hey, you know what? Come in and do it.
When you first heard that they were thinking about starting an internet department here, what were your honest thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I was a little skeptical, like everybody is. You know, I think we know that. You know, a lot of it is it almost sounds like it's too good to be true, but until you really experience it and do it, you know, it's amazing.
I want to talk about this because I think this is important, because you said the right words. Many people think the same thing. Like, this is not going to work, or this is just another rainbow chasing, you know, initiative. What things as a GM scared you, or like you were skeptical about?
Well, you got to turn your control over to people. You know, you're turning over the ability to bring people through the door, which is really essentially is our job, is to bring them through the door. And you know, now the people that you're bringing through your door are being talked to by somebody else. So you're a little skeptical as to how are they going to get treated, what are they being said, you know, things that we've trained for years that now we're not doing. You know, but the business is constantly changing. People are on the internet. People want to buy over the phone. They don't want to be bothered with 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours at a car dealer. They don't.
What about, and this is important, because if you were skeptical, you guys weren't, you know, you weren't doing like 200 units, you were doing 50 units. I would assume, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that this couldn't fail. Because if this failed, this would have put you in a crippling position.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
so let's talk about that, because that's got to be scary as hell too.
Sure. I mean, you got to remember, with the midst of everything else that was going on, I mean, we were constantly battling the monster here, you know, and keeping it going. And we have sustained all that, and we're seeing the light through the woods now. And this is really like taking a V6 motor and supercharging it.
The first 3 weeks on the program, how many units came out of your department?
We started in March 10th, and we sold 33 in here in March.
33 units?
Yes, we did 93 for the store.
So less than 3 weeks?
Correct.
Wow. And then let's talk about what just happened in April. What happened in April? How many cars did you guys sell?
The store did 99, and I tell you, it was rewarding and heartbreaking because we were trying so hard to get to 100.
But
and,
stop! I'm gonna stop you right there. Listen,
I still get.
Girl, are you kidding? But you shouldn't though. So basically, you're upset because you only doubled the dealership's business.
You know what? It was just when we walked in.
No, wait a minute. You're too hard yourself. No, like, I need a remix and effects on this in post, okay, people? Like, are you kidding me? Let's say it out loud. You almost doubled an entire dealership's business. Say it out loud.
We almost doubled a store's business. I forgot what you said.
Okay,
sorry.
it's okay, but in 1 month.
I'm still thinking about the one.
Okay,
so.
that's what I'm saying
Yes,
now. So this is what I try to tell people is that if an internet operation is in place, or if you hire some internet trainer consultant and it's got to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, something's wrong. This is like, you can't turn on and open up the faucet
and not have water
come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is instant gratification. And your brother said something that you guys needed instant results. And is that what you got?
Instant.
Okay. Again, focus and appreciate what you did. What you did is special. It's not normal. Not everybody does what you and your team accomplish. So instead of focusing on that one car that escaped you, you know what? You think about it and just really just internalize and just like, wow, 99. 99. You know, and your dealer, Ronnie, had a great statement. 99 is going to turn out to be your midpoint watch. That's what I'm predicting. So damn, doubled.
Double.
That's crazy. So what is that like? What was going through your mind? Like, tell me about this.
I'll tell you, it is, I have to tell you, sometimes I feel like this is a dream. And what I mean by that is like there's a presence of surreal where you're like, is this really happening? Because I'm going to tell you something. This is what's interesting. The last day of the month,
when 2 people were supposed to leave at 6, and all of the coordinators were in here at 8:30 waiting to see if we sold the last car.
That's crazy.
And there was literally a monsoon outside all day also.
Like you might have thought Noah's Ark is coming. That's how bad it rained all day. The Flyers are in the playoffs.
And we did 8 units, and it was just phenomenal to come back here and see that they were all still here. Like, they had to go home, the Flyers were playing in the playoffs, and everyone was still here.
But what I saw, which was the most rewarding, was the dedication from the call center. I mean, they were hammering the phones, and even the guys were, you know, the salespeople, they didn't, you know, get umbrellas, jackets, whatever they had to do, and we were putting deals together, you know, and you know, you wake up 10 o'clock in the morning, you see this, and you know all this going on. You're like, this, like, what? I don't know how this is going to, how are we going to end?
A couple of questions on this. Did you ever think that quickly that you'd double your entire store's business?
No. No.
So if somebody said, Ron, you're going to have 99 cars in April, you'd have said what?
I don't think so.
Right.
You know.
What was the morale like for the whole store once you achieved something of this magnitude?
The morale is, it's very upbeat. It's very encouraging. It's team. Everybody's gelling together. It's not a department versus a sales department. These guys are making the appointments, getting them in. The sales guys, you know, told the sales guys, hey, they're doing their part. Now you need to do yours, and they are.
I can't even put it into words because you come in here and we haven't blanked, number one, since we turned on March 10th in this dealership. And every day we sell cars, everybody's happy, everyone's making money. And yes, we have good days, bad days, arguments, all that. But at the end of the day, like you said, to double our business, and everyone's out there just excited about working. They come by these guys' lunch every other day. Literally, a salesperson bought them all lunch. They're upbeat, they come in here.
So the interactions changed.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Paradigms have changed.
Absolutely.
So now, would you say that the showroom respects and appreciates your team?
I feel like they always did, but I guess the attitude before was skeptical, and now it's like the internet department is the bomb.
Right.
Like that's how it is now.
What would you say would be the involvement that Dealer Synergy had in helping you create the program, training, and support? What level would you say that we had in helping you guys put this together?
I mean, 100%. I mean, you got to remember the cooperation from the top down. We believe in this, you know. So it came down to the facts are: we need to change, we need to produce results, and we don't have time to waste. You know, you have to step out in faith a little bit. We had to hire 6 people, you know, 4 coordinators, a director. I increased my sales department. You know, I have my mother and my brother screaming payroll taxes are going up. You know, we got to pay more in health insurance. I get it.
Do you think that doubling the business out of nowhere like this had to do with this new department, or was it just because it was going to happen anyway?
No, I give credit to Dealer Synergy. I really do.
I believe it or not, I'm not saying this to be false humble. Like,
No,
it really isn't us. Like, here's the reality of it. We have a piece of it. At the end of the day, you have to run the ball. At the end of the day, you have to manage, you have to make the tweaks, etc. And I appreciate your kindness and allowing us to share in your success. But this is, you have an amazing team. We're going to break that down in a minute, between you as the dealer starting from the top. Because you said to me, I told you, remember? And we're on camera. Did I not say, listen, if you Frankenstein my system,
Absolutely.
it's not going to work. I say the same thing to a lot of dealers. There's dealers that we have that have profound success like you, but it's not going to work if dealers start Frankensteining. Do you agree with that?
I 100%.
Okay, so don't you think it's a little bit stupid that if you hire any type of consultant or trainer and then you just start Frankensteining and jury rigging their system?
Oh, it's really, you know, but what happens is, and probably from a lot of dealers, they see what you do, and they want to take that idea back and they want to try to make it their idea. The reality is, we all know, you know, the things that we're supposed to do, but you know, now in today's world, you know, there's accountability. You know, the World Wide Web, it's out there. And the difference is, and quite frankly, what your company had made me realize is, you know, we're not necessarily, you know, throwing our lines in the ocean. I mean, we're putting our nets out there because it's out there. But you know, you had shown us and taught us how to get that business. You know, how to, you know, cater to that. You know, your key tracks and words and the training. The training was important. You know, we took 4 people that weren't in the business. We didn't want the pros, so to speak. We wanted to train them. And that was probably one of the best things, that we had 4 people that, you know, whether they realize it or not, they're car people. You know, they're on the phones, and, you know, what they're doing is amazing. I got to tell you, it's hats off to that department. A couple of times, customers have come in and like, can I meet Emily? You know, I've never met anybody that had such diligence on the phone. And so just by that, it's like, it's amazing. You know, when you hear, it's not, you know, like, so you see the numbers, you can see that, but, you know, the reward is when the customers come in and they're like, hey, I have to meet so-and-so back in the department, because let me tell you, she's the reason I'm here. What she did on the phone was, and she got him here. And all of them, for that matter. I mean, so.
Let's go through that, because I think that the most important part for this section is, I want to say, is I truly believe that the huge success and the quickness of your success starts with the dealer principal, the executive management, wanting to be successful, buying in, and basically training and leading their team, your GSMs, your sales managers, your salespeople, saying, look, this is the system we're going to do, and we're going to follow it exactly, and, you know, getting behind it. So I wanted to say kudos to you, because at the end of the day, you're the lead of the organization, and your people are going to follow your lead. Right. If you didn't buy in, your people wouldn't buy in.
Right.
So that's the first thing. The next thing is, I want to kind of break down, an internet department is made or broken in 4 key categories: your products, your people, your process, promotions. And I think that's a big part of it, Ronnie, is that, you know, it is not one thing or a magic bean. It's a holistic approach. And so when we came into the dealership, we set up the model. We didn't just come in here and just start training and start doing this stuff. We mapped out. So let's go through that. Like, the first part is that we analyzed what you had going on.
You did.
We identified your strengths, your weaknesses. We identified your people, your deficiencies, your leads, etc. And then we created a plan. Do you remember what the original plan was?
Not exactly the original plan. I know you did, but I could tell you, I know that the beauty of this was, Dealer Synergy had really helped build something from the ground up. This wasn't like, okay, they're here, we're going to take them there. I knew by you coming in, it was either going to work or it wasn't. Because, you know, when you see something working, it's contagious.
Right.
You know, it's how could, you know, you feel it. You know, you feel what's going on. I mean, the reality is, yeah, you guys put the icing on the cake, but it also helped to develop a different mindset and an attitude. You know, as a dealer, I had to say, okay, I'm gonna let you guys do what you have to do, and I'm gonna continue what I'm doing. But, you know, let the experts, you know, do what they are. That's what I'm paying to do. You know, do what it is. So watching these guys, you know, training them was huge, and you know, but then watching them on the phones, and I thought, you know what, it was almost like pulling up and watching a TV show. Like, wow, like, you know, because if you're in the business and you see and you start listening to what they do, it's admirable. You know, so You know, a lot of that, you know, like I said, building something from, you know, from the infant stages, so to speak, and getting us to here, and we're not going to stop. I mean,
Here's what I want to do, just so from them reading the cover story, I want to put a pencil to this for them.
Sure.
This is the same model that we did with Spirit Chrysler that we've done with the other dealership in New Jersey, which is, you know, Davis Honda, which we did with Peruzzi Toyota, which was in a different magazine, and when I was selling cars, is that I want to begin with the end result in mind. I wanted to find out how many cars you guys wanted to sell out of the department. And the original number that we came up with was an additional 50 units out of the department. That's what the number was an additional 50 units. I think you guys were doing maybe 10 units a month. So it was getting the department up to 60. And now we got you to 50, you know, within the first full month there. So, and I think that we have plenty of room to grow together. But so to do that, you need to have enough leads. You need to have opportunities to do business. So with tweaking the different lead source providers, utilizing third-party providers, digital marketing initiatives, you were able to get over 500 fresh leads in a month.
Right.
And I just talked to your internet director, Jen Romano, and Jen had said that you had approximately 600 leads in the month of April. It was like 580 leads or something like that. Now, obviously, some of the leads are, you know, bogus, bought elsewhere, etc. I'm giving the gross amount of leads, not the net usable amount of leads. Out of that, one of the differences in our system, and I want to get your opinion on, is instead of just dealing out the leads, because there's some people, especially antiquated trainers, what they'll do is they'll recommend showroom salespeople to take all the internet leads. In my philosophy, I'm deeply against that, and here's the reason why. Because there's 8 ways that a showroom sales consultant can sell an automobile. You've got walk-ins, beatbacks, internet ups, phone ups, prior customers, referrals, and the lost art of prospecting. You know, does that make sense? And then service conversions. So there's 8 different ways. So if I'm a salesperson and I really want to maximize my sales ability, plus handle 580 leads, I think that it's going to get choked down. Yeah. So we decided, with your blessing, to hire and develop 4 people into full-time appointment setters. They sell the appointment. What's your opinion of the model that you chose with Dealer Synergy as far as having appointment setters versus, you know, round robin the leads to a bunch of salespeople?
I like the concept. I am very for the concept. One of the things to, you know, I want my salespeople to sell. And there's a lot of great salespeople out there, but the reality is there's a lot of calls that have to be made and a lot of things that have to be, you know, followed up. I mean, let's face it, typically if you were to give this to a salesperson and, okay, here's the leads, then somebody walks in or somebody has to do something and takes away, you know, what happens is your salesperson becomes less and less effective in what they're doing. I mean, the idea is to get the bodies into the showroom. You know, once they're here, the salespeople can do their job. You know, that's what we want. So we had to separate that, where I said, okay, all the calls have to go into this call center. Don't really care how it comes, whatever. I want them to take it because they are trained to get them in the door. Once they get them in the door, they have done their job.
At almost 34 and being an adult, you don't think that you will meet new people that just pop into your life in a couple months and be your friends and be rooting for you. And Joe Calla, Joe Argento, I'm such a baby, please don't cry. They email me constantly and motivate me. I mean, if I'm having a hard day or we're trying to hit a number, it's just constant motivation, constant training, constant positiveness that I've even took from this office and just use in general. It's phenomenal. I can't speak highly of those 2. I mean, yourself, everyone is
That's
great.
feeling left out here.
No, but
no, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
I mean,
I'm teasing.
You know,
the
I can get a text and text them anytime, whenever it is, and they're right there, always right there. Joe Argento reached out to us this morning. He FaceTimed all of us and wished he was here, and it's amazing. It's just like I said, you're friends. It's nice.
I appreciate that because I learned in the very beginning of Dealer Synergy, I've had the company 10 years now, is that, you know, having a great idea, there's a lot of great ideas. And then there's even like really good trainers or speakers. I really believe that the success, especially of a multi-million-dollar department, which is what you all are building right here, it's in the longevity, it's in the ongoing. Anybody could evangelize and take you to church for, you know, a couple days, a couple weeks, but it's making sure it's held together. And I want to go on record by saying that this is that I am really honored that you have allowed Dealer Synergy to share in your guys' success. You had a lot of, experience, a lot of success before we got here. And we have a little bit of input as far as the structure and the training. But at the end of the day, it's you in the field, making the phone calls, managing your team. It's you, it's Mike, it's Ronnie, it's George, it's all your people, it's your coordinators doing that stuff. And I believe that it's a couple different things. It starts with the leadership and the owners and the GM basically saying, look, I want to be successful, so I'm going to invest time and training and money into a training company, consulting, whoever they are, whatever, from the OEM, from outside of Dealer Synergy, whomever. But if the owners don't buy in, if the owners don't believe that this should work, if the owners don't say, hey, look, this is what we're doing, get on the same page, it's not going to work. So I think you guys have a competitive edge with your owners, with your GM and with your dealer. Next, though, it's you, girl. I'm being honest with you. If you don't have the right internet director, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at the problem. It doesn't matter how much consultant you have. I'm Sean V. Bradley. I'm not Jesus. I don't have divine powers. So if you don't have the right person leading this department, it's not going to work, or it will not work to the true potential that it theoretically could. So us at Dealer Synergy, like, we love this because, we set things into motion, fall back, we help out, we do what we got to do. But at the end of the day, you all wanted it bad enough. That's why we're here. That's why the lights and camera here is because you and your team wanted it more than the other people did. And congratulations. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys crack 120 and beyond.
And one of the things you and I talked about was, okay, do you want me to just come in for the week and then leave, or do we continue on with the support? There's value in the support because it's ongoing. Keep something in mind, technology doesn't just stay where it's at. It's ongoing and changing. And your company embraces that and teaches it as well. So anything that change, let's face it, from 2009 to today, it's completely different business. And 1 year ago to now, it's different. So the value, of course, with having the monthly support, ongoing support, is that if there's a new and fresh idea, you guys are telling us about it. If there's a script or something to be shared, we know about it. So your company, has evolved, and it's changed and continues to change with it. And it's a benefit to us because, look, we're busy on the phone trying to sell cars, and you know what? Here's another bone for you guys. Try this and that, and even the mystery shopping, because it keeps everybody on their toes. There's an accountability to the training, so it wasn't just to come in. It wasn't that up and down. Like, this is ongoing, and that's important. I see the value in it because as we continue to move forward, this business, this conversation 6 months from now, there's going to be a few more changes, right. I'm sure, and you guys know what it is, and that's what we rely on you to train us.
So, what's next? I didn't ask Ronnie this, I didn't ask Jen this. I'm asking you. I want, like, what is now? Like you said, you're 35, young and aggressive. Now that you've had a taste, what is in the next year from now? Look what you did in 3 weeks, 7 weeks. What do you think the possibilities of your organization look like in the future?
I couldn't even fathom it.
You
Sean.
have to. I want you to try. Right now on camera, I want you to just try. What do you think?
I think that we'll probably be doing an average of 150 units, like steady, for real. I feel like that we're going to be an 1,800 car a year store.
That's what I'm thinking, and I think that that's the start. Because for a dealership to go from 50 units to 150 units, it's not insane. It's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. What people don't realize is that when 92 to 99% of Americans are going online before they step foot into the dealership, if they're not fully committed and focused where everybody's at, they're not going to be able to benefit. You guys, that's your success right there. You guys are able to benefit because you are putting all your resources where all the bodies are at. Kudos to you, my friend. I am honored to be able to share in your success. I mean,
well, we wouldn't have been here without you guys either. I mean, you need to know that.
That means a lot to me.
It does, but let's put it where it's at. If we didn't embrace your program, I would still be a 60-car store.
It's a joint venture, and
yes,
it is our privilege to be able to share in this. But again, shout out to Jen as the director.
Most definitely.
I'm telling you, between me and you, and she's going to see this obviously when it posts, is that that's also a critical key, because I know I'm good, you know you're good, but at the end of the day, she's running that department.
Nonstop,
you
man.
have a great internet director, and I'm telling you, if you look at your departments, and I'm talking to the dealers out there, and you have some, schlep, somebody you're gonna blow out, and you decide, well, put them in the internet department. You have some young kid, Gen X, Gen Y, some nerd, something like that. I hate on nerds, but if they're not car people, how the hell do you expect them to turn around and create something great? If you can't look at your internet director and say, I would have that person as my sales manager, GSM, they do not belong in the internet department. So tell us, how critical do you think the success is by having the right caliber of a director?
You have to have the right person. I mean, the days of the 5-star coordinators being your internet person are out, The days of just someone to just take the internet leads are over, Her job is intense, She expects a high level of production from them, and she holds them all accountable. They're required to make X amount, and it's intense, and she does a hell of a job.
You got a special woman there. I'm telling you that right now.
Thanks.
You've got I've trained 9,000 automotive professionals, and she is a great find. Make sure you keep that one.
Thanks.
Well, now I want you to talk to the dealer principals, the general managers, and just the dealerships out there. Talk to them about it, whether it's Dealer Synergy or somebody else. How valuable do you think getting involved in internet sales is for your organization? How?
If you don't, you're not going to be here. I just don't know how else to say it. I saw
That's
this
pretty
coming.
damn accurate to me. I
mean,
that.
you're just not going to exist.
If you don't embrace the internet, embrace the internet. If you don't have an internet system and a internet-based sales department, get with the times, because you are seriously lost.
And I feel for second-generation dealers out there. It's very difficult for my father to embrace the web, and create a web page. So, and I feel that, and I would encourage anybody that you're struggling, call me. I mean, I'm here all the time. So that
Give me the number.
You can call me at the store 856-467-2200. Ask for Ron Boss. If I don't pick up, leave a number where I will call you back, and I will call you back.
Or if you need a car, he's a good guy to
look.
look.
Need a car too.
Don't ever think that you can't learn something new. Don't ever think that every day you can't wake up and be better. Everything in this dealership is a team effort on this whole sales floor. Out there, in here, we're a team. Again, we have our good days, bad days, but overall, you definitely need an internet department if you want to be a successful dealership. Period, hands down. No one will ever tell me otherwise. You need it. I see us growing quick. I feel like we're in the process of hiring a BDC person solely for that, and possibly another coordinator soon. And if you want to stay open, you need an internet department for sure.
Well, I got to tell you sincerely, it is amazing to have watched so quickly and so incredibly your success and your evolution. And I am completely confident that you guys are going to hit 120, 150. What is your goals to be able to hit? So for the month of May, what are you looking to close with?
I believe the month of May, the objective is about 120.
120.
And I could tell you one of the things that the day after, they were upset they didn't hit 100. But I have to tell you, I was so proud that even that 99 number, because in spite of everything that's going on, one thing I said to them, I said, guys, it's not going to be that long before 99 is the mid-month number. Yes. So think about that. 99 is the mid-month number. We want to get to that too. That's, we, like anything else, we want to increase it. But the goal is, 120, 125, and, we're not taking our foot off the gas here. We're going to keep going.
And in closing for me is that, for me and my wife, we have a family business. Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law is actually one of your trainers, Joe
Yes.
Argento. And my wife's sister is HR. One of my close friends for 20 years is one of my other trainers. The guy that married us is our general manager, Joe Callis. So we have a similar, situation. We're not a dealer. We're a consulting company for dealers. But I can totally understand and appreciate what you're doing. And I got to just tell you that, again, that's a lot of responsibility you have to perpetuate what your father created, that legacy. But I'm telling you right now, he would definitely be proud about, you know, where you're taking the company. So again, it's an honor to be able to share in your success. So you have closing statements, sir. What would you like to say to the world?
I just want to say to the world, you know, thank you for listening. I hope you found all the information in this interview useful, and just a big thank you to Dealer Synergy. I really mean that. It wasn't just the fact that you came in and you changed the culture of our showroom. It changed me as an individual, and it changed a lot of things about, you know, how I think and say and do things, and to really realize that, you know, the dreams do come true. You know, I know the same with your story. You started, you know, the same way my father did, but you can be a success in this business. But really just nothing else more than just to say thank you. You know, we made some friendships, but, you know, really I've learned a lot. And I'm not, you know, I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to say it. I just continue to learn every day. It's been very humbling, but very rewarding. And just, you, to be honest with you, you guys have made me fall in love with what I've always loved to do.
Wow.
And that's, you know, fall back in love. And you know, it's been a challenging 4 or 5 years. So we're excited to, you know, get back to what we're doing.
You know what somebody said? It's funny. It said, it's why the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror. It's in back of you. You know what I'm saying? Focus on what's in front of us. Yeah. And we got great things to do, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Listen, congratulations.
Sean, I appreciate everything.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's been great, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years with you.
Thank you again, and congratulations for being the cover story in 2014 for AutoSuccess magazine.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you.